Aloha, everyone, and welcome to One Truth Ministry. I am Aaron McLaughlin, and welcome to our brand new online ministry. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Michigan, and there, I went to high school as well as college, and then I earned my degree in teaching, in which I subsequently moved to Hawaii and taught here for 11 years. And to be honest, throughout that whole entire time, God really wasn't part of my life. It really wasn't. You know, just wasn't part of it. I mean, sure, as kids, we did go to the Catholic Church, some, but it really wasn't something I enjoyed. It was really something that felt like an obligation and it felt like rules and just really wasn't a whole lot of fun. It really wasn't. And it's not something I really enjoyed doing. And so, and eventually we just stopped going altogether. And I just, to be honest with you, I just didn't see it as something that I was really into. And plus, all through high school and college, kept learning about all these different religious wars between Christians, Jews, Muslims, and I just was like, man, if all this does is bring wars, I mean, how can this, possibly be good? That's what I was thinking at the time. That is, absolutely what I was thinking at the time. Uh, but I didn't really understand it then. Yeah, but then one day, when I was, I don't know, 33, I just kind of woke up and just decided that, things really weren't working for me. I mean, I was in a career that I really wasn't enjoying anymore. I mean, I was really burnt out with teaching. I was in a bad marriage. I really was. And I was in a mortgage that was not good. I was, yeah, I owned a house, but the reality was the house owned me. I was working two, three jobs just to keep that thing paid for, and it just really wasn't worth it anymore. So I did decide, hey, I just got to do something different. And so I did find this church that I, started going to, and I was still skeptical. I'm not gonna lie, I was very skeptical of the whole God thing, and I started listening to this pastor, Dr. Morocco. He was awesome, and he gave great sermons. So even though I was skeptical of the whole God thing, he gave great messages in terms of you know life and how you handle certain things, and it was even very helpful in terms of like how to balance budgets and how to deal with relationships. And I was like, wow, this is really good. But I was still a little skeptical to want to move completely forward and believing with God. And I don't know why. I think deep down it was just something where I had this ridiculous belief in my head that if you live holy, you can't have fun. And that was really a ridiculous thing for me to think. It really was. Because, I don't know. Ever since I've decided to follow God, my life has gotten more and more exciting. It really has. But what really altered me from that belief was, one day I was, working at TSA, and Dr. Morocco's son, who's also a pastor, Pastor Josh, came through the checkpoint, and he had a boot on his leg. And I said, "Oh, Pastor Josh, what happened to you?" And he said, "Oh, I was riding my motorcycle and I crashed." And I was like, "Whoa, you did?" And don't get me wrong, I wasn't happy that he broke his foot, but I just thought, wow, you're a pastor and you're riding motorcycles. And that to me was the coolest thing. That was just so cool. I was like, wow, this is a pastor and he's, you can still have fun. So that just took the whole idea I had that if you're living the life of God, that you can't live an exciting life. It just blew it out the window. It really did. And so I did, from that point on, did start to get a little bit more involved with the church and start going to doing things otherwise. And then every year we have this thing called a prophetic conference. And at my very first prophetic conference, I received a great prophecy that there would be a new that there would be a new woman in my life soon. And 3 months later, my wife did get here, and that really came true. And what I found was amazing about the prophecy was that they people lay hands on you, and it's like these are people that have never met you, these actual living prophets, and it's like they just know things, and I'm like, wow, it's and then right then and there, if you get a prophetic word, you just see how real this whole thing really is, with God. And so, but then with that prophetic word, at the end it said, there will come a time in which you will find your stage and you will preach the word of God. And I was like, wait a minute, what the heck, me? I mean, I can't remember verses, and I'm terrible at being serious, and I'm the king of sarcasm. So that just seemed a little bit odd to me. That me of all people, like, yeah, I have my place in God's kingdom, but me actually preaching the word. I said, well, but if God said it, um, so I held on to that prophet for a few years because I just really didn't know where to begin with it and where to go with it, because I was like, I'm not a minister, I'm not a pastor. What can I do? Well, let's fast forward to things. About a year ago, I actually opened up my business of making websites, Someone's Garage. And this is after I had tried many businesses in the past in which my success was not what I wanted to, was not what I wanted. But with Someone's Garage, I just said, this is an easy business for me to do. It's very little overhead. All I need is my laptop, and I know how to make these websites. And there's so many businesses that still need them. So yeah, very easy business idea. And shortly after I started this business, there was another prophetic conference. That was last year. And at the time I went in there, I was only a couple months into my business, and at the time only had one customer. And so I went into there, and the first thing the prophet said was, God is going to prosper your business. You will prosper in the marketplace. And this was like after, I was having all these people tell me, nah, no need, I don't want it. And I was just wondering, okay, well, maybe people don't want websites. Maybe they don't. But I went in there, and God said, God is going to prosper your business. And then from that point on, it just seems so different. Like, I'm starting asking people, and now suddenly they're saying yes, and people are just going. And not only that, now it's like it's just coming in from everywhere. And it's like, now I got, clients from all over Maui, and then the Big Island, and a couple in San Diego, and even in Alaska. There's a couple of possibilities that might be closing very soon. And not only that, um, with the clients, I mean, God just set everything up for me with this one too. Because one of my coworkers, her husband happens to be a logo designer, and he's helped me out with a couple of websites, and it's just right in front of me. And then a few months ago, a best friend of mine, he ends up meeting the love of his life, and then when I end up meeting her, I come to find out that she is a SEO. And I was like, wow. It's like God has just really put this people right in front of me. And so, yeah, I've, had more success with this business. It's not because I'm any smarter or anything, although I do think I'm a little bit smarter than what I was before with my other businesses. But the real key is I just really put everything in God's hands. Let God sort it out for me, and let God put the people in front of me, and it worked. And so, but then I was like thinking, so this prophetic word really came true. But then I was thinking, well, what about that first one where God was saying, you are going to be preaching the word of God? I just kind of sat on that for a few years, and I thought to myself, well, maybe that's what my stage was. Maybe my stage was online when he said, you will find your stage, and you will preach the word. So maybe that's the stage he was referring to. And so I thought, yeah, okay, maybe I'll make myself an online ministry, and do my sermons on video. And then I don't know how many followers I'll get. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. I'll probably do, sermon every week, and, do some blogs with it as well. But where it's going to go, only God knows. I'll do the same thing I do with my business. I just put it up there, obey God, and let Him guide me. That's, to me, seems like the simplest way to do this. So, but then I was thinking, okay, well, what can I call this thing? What can I call this? I was just thinking, I want it to be something that really, that really stands out, something that really gets attention. And then I was just thinking about, the world that we live in today, and we have all this stuff going on where we're in one of the most intense elections ever, and I will be doing a blog on that. I do believe God has His hand on a certain candidate. I really do, and I believe it is our duty as Christians to be involved in the process. Um, but looking at all the stuff on the internet that goes on, and although the internet is a great tool, it can be used for bad as well, as we know. And things on the internet are you have one article that contradicts another, and you get all these different 24-hour news networks, and they all contradict each other. And we live in a time where it's impossible to know the truth. And I was, and that's where I came up with the idea of, well, why not one truth? Because although we live in a world where it's hard to know what the truth is, the reality is if you, read the Bible, you know that there is only one truth. In fact, it says in John 14:16, Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes through the Father except through me. And notice how it doesn't say, I am a way, I am a truth, and I am a life. It says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. See, notice the difference there in the adjective there. I am or I am the way, the truth, the life. And then notice how it says, no one comes through the Father except through me. Notice how he doesn't say, no one comes through the Father except through me, Buddha, Jude, Muhammad, or whoever. It just says, no one comes through the Father through me. So in other words, there's only one way. There is only one way. Now, how do we know our way is true? Well, I say because who else died on the cross and came back after 3 days? Who else died on the cross and came back after 3 days? And the fact of the matter is that happened. I mean, there's 4 different eyewitness accounts of that. There's Luke, Mark, John, and Matthew. They all pretty much said so much the same story about him dying and coming back. And and these are all different people. So, it did happen. And plus, if you really have any doubts about it, I encourage all of you to go get a prophetic word, and then you will feel how real it all is. Because right in there, you get, when you have the pastor or a prophet laying hands on you and telling you God's plan for you, you're like,